Hey everybody, Wisdom here, 2:13 a.m. Tuesday, April 8th. Just introduced Nitro Freezeblade. He's actually still on the portal. What I'm going to do now, it just makes sense to me. I realize there are other characters out prior to Punk Shock, but since she's also Water Element and she kind of wraps up the Water Element, makes sense to me. Go ahead and get her on. So we're going to pull Nitro Freezeblade, and we will get Ms. Punk Shock on the portal for the very first time. I'll back out of here. We'll get to see her intro. If it does anything to the collection, gives us accolades, etc., you'll get to see that. So here we go.
Amp it up.
That's a fitting voice for her. Okay, so sadly nothing. She looks really cool. I mean, the way that crossbow is kind of glowing, it's almost like I would have expected, like when she was fully upgraded. But looks pretty good here. She's kind of looks like she's kind of like crouched down over that thing. So her jump very impressive. I did not anticipate a chick carrying a crossbow to do a flip. So kind of weird, but I mean it's really cool. So we'll give her that. Let's do her a little differently. Her primary attack is going to be Spark Shot. Obviously, that should be the crossbow. Ooh, 35, and it looks like it's got some good range to it. So 35 was probably critical, and then 23. So 35, 23 that time. I thought that sheep was out of it. Almost gets to the third one. I think if I scoot up here and the sheep will move. I got all three of them that time. I don't know if you saw it. I think I'm in the window now. So 23, 23, 23. That's 23, 23, 46 plus 23, 69. That's pretty nice chain of damage there. That was a 35, 23, 35. So that's what, 70, 93 right there. So apparently this thing, I'm guessing the 35 must be critical, and the 23 standard. But it's kind of a sweet little perk there when you see 35, 23, 35, 2 out of 3 being critical. So, nonetheless, nice range on that thing. Let's see how rapid she can shoot. Fairly rapidly. I mean, it's not like lightning or anything, but it's not. There's no like significant reload time or anything. So that's pretty impressive right there in and of itself. Now, her secondary attack, I think, is going to be, it's like the water balloon looking one, I think, Splash Bomb, I think. 32, I'm assuming, wow, she's got a good range on that too, so, let's come back over here, see if she's, warning her, there we go. Well, she overshot that actually. So, anyway, 48 there. So, okay, so we'll call that 32 to 48. So her secondary attack 32, 48, and then the primary Spark Shot we're looking at 23 to 35. Pretty salty numbers for this little lady. That said, again, the gamepad is awesome because I have her stats here. However, I want you to see those too, so we kind of need to go into the menus. Before we do that, we're going to come to collection. Over to Spyro's head, 149 now on the overall collection, and then 18 on the water element. That's kind of getting it caught up with everybody else. So let's select this. Okay, now Nitro Freezeblade has moved over here. When I did his introduction, he was clear on the backside. Now he's right underneath Freezeblade, so you tell me. But we'll cycle over here. Maybe once we check her out, she'll move back over there with Riptide or something. So, nonetheless, this is Punk Shock. Her slogan, amp it up. Let's check out her bio. Artwork's pretty true to the form there. Amp it up, daughter to the most royal family in wondrous waters. That sounds like an amusement park or something. Punk Shock, you know, like a SeaWorld type thing. Punk Shock never really accepted her role as an undersea princess. She preferred a much more exciting life, hunting with her electric crossbow and listening to supercharged music. I'm still trying to figure out what that is. Given amp it up, you know, I'd assume like a rock or metal. I don't know, maybe it's like electric you know, given her nature, who knows. After journeying to the outer reaches, those little things that keep me up at night, you know. After journeying to the outer reaches of her kingdom to find adventure, Punk Shock returned home to discover adventure had found her. The kingdom and its people were magically frozen by the snow trolls who were there to steal valuable treasure. Punk Shock used her awesomely charged crossbow to single-handedly defeat the snow troll army and melt the ice that trapped her kingdom. Gilgrunt, props there, heard of the battle and quickly recruited Punk Shock into the Skylanders. So, I know a lot of people like to do Skylanders matchmaking. Obviously, that makes sense. Then again, if you know Gilgrunt's story, he's still looking for that mermaid chick. If you don't know that, it's in one of the novels. So, that said, pretty cool story there. Again, I do like anytime another character is mentioned kind of as a recruitment, just opposed to word spread to Eon. You know, it kind of adds a little bit of something to it. You know, granted, sometimes some of the stuff is kind of cool to have it, you know, just be so awesome that Eon hears of it. But when in doubt, throw in another character, and it works pretty well. So let's back out of here. Actually, try this. Yeah, exactly what I wanted her to do. So, she was there at the end, stays there, and then once you've, I guess, checked her out, as you can see here, alphabetically, we've got Freeze Blades, the Washbucklers, then Punk Shock, then Riptide, then Chill, then Whamshell, and then we kind of like get into everybody else. So, that's cool. It's kind of done by series is there. So, interestingly enough, I like Series 1 Slam Bam's photo the best. Anyway, none of that really matters. So let's come out here to Skylander.
The best there is.
I think she said I'm the best there is. This is, like I mentioned, she's kind of got that like crouching thing going on. It's interesting. I think in her figure she's actually like standing upright. So this is almost like she's on the hunt, if you will. Also seems like she'd get along well with Zap. I mean, obviously, you know, you got the elements going on there. Anyway, max health 270, speed 43, that's pretty respectable. Armor 12, that's actually fairly high. Her critical hit is actually 8. I have that one charm. Again, I'm gonna record all that stuff, but I actually did one and I didn't realize you got like the charms that applied immediately, so that's why that's skewed. Elemental power, we were at 56, now we're at 63 bonus, so that puts us at 88, up from a box stock 25. Back out of there, let's do quests first. We'll make you wait for the good stuff. These first 6 really mundane, you should know them. Defeat 1,000 enemies, 15 fruit, don't take damage, 10 PvP. This one's cool. If you didn't like Punk Shock initially, which based on what I saw, I don't know what's not to like, but this encourages you to actually play with her, get money, buy the upgrades, and then hopefully fall in love with her, you know, and or at least get her to level 20, you know, to complete your quest. Bottom one here, 7,500 elemental bonus damage. The 2 big water ones, though, right here, defeat a total of 25 fire golems for extinguisher. Right below that, catch 25 fish with a fishing rod for aficionado. Now, the biggest and most important one, really, for Punk Shock is her personal quest, which is Hydrostatistics. No, hydrostatics. I'm sorry. That sounds way better than statistics, by the way. Shock enemies with electrified water zones 100 times. That's real similar to what we saw with Freeze Blade. Basically, use your icicle ability, freeze enemies 100 times. So I don't think we'll have much trouble with that. I say that because we're going to take a look at her upgrades here. Box stock, she begins with Spark Shot. Press Y to shoot an electrified bolt. Shoot a splash bomb puddle. Dadgum, should have done that. We'll do it at the end now. Press Y to shoot an electrified bolt. Shoot a splash bomb puddle, which is what we had from her secondary attack, and cause that area to become electrified. So, my apologies there. Coming over here, splash bomb obviously ties in with primary. Press A to throw a large water balloon that makes a puddle where it lands. Shoot the puddle with Spark Shot to electrify. So I like that they mentioned that twice. I'm sure eventually you'd do it just out of habit, you know, button mashing or something. But like I said, all this is a blind playthrough, the introductions, everything. If it wasn't, I would have known that ahead of time and I would have done it in that order. But I like everything to be new to me. First base upgrade, Spark Splash. This will be her tertiary. It's going to run 320. All the prices you see, I've completed everything, have all the wing sapphires. So press X to perform a tail attack that shocks nearby enemies. Short wait before you can use it again. It'll be interesting to see if she can, shock the splash bomb areas or not with that. Didn't mention it, so I'm assuming you can't, but it seems like you should be able to. Second purchased upgrade, High Voltage. Press Y to shoot high-powered cross-bolt attacks that do increased damage. 448 there. Omg. I guess that's kind of like a play on Ohm and, OMG is what I'm guessing. I don't know. Press Y to shoot electric crossbow bolts that branch out and hit enemies in a larger area. So it's kind of reminiscent of Gill Grunt. Obviously, they seem to have a lot in common as well. But it looks like hers, instead of being like a Y, they may have like an arc on the two outer perimeters, which would be kind of cool. Something a little different. Final base upgrade is called Hypercharge. This is awesome. Increases movement speed, adding a spark to each step. As you know, speed and armor, very important to me. And when you can get those without having them tied in with a specific path, whether it be a base upgrade, which is the best, or even a soul gem, I am pretty fond of those situations. Her top path is going to be called Conductor Constructor. Looks like it's going to deal with her secondary attack, if you will. It begins with H2 throw. Press A to throw 2 additional water balloons. All water balloons last longer. So I'm assuming that means, of course, the puddle that you can then electrify. H2 throw, probably, like a play on words, H2O being water, yada yada. Troubled Waters is next. All water balloon attacks do increased damage. Throwing water balloons never hurts so bad. Final upgrade down, Conductor Constructor, is going to be Bolting Blob. Hold A to throw a big balloon into the air. Release to zap it and electrify all enemies in a very large area. So this is one of those things I'm going to actually have to play around with that. I don't know if it's just based on that only. Say that we had just released H2 throw, we had 3 water balloons out, and then if we did that, it would be interesting if while we're shooting that one up in the sky, it spreads to the ground. That would be pretty impressive, but we'll have to check it out. Bottom path is Electro Cutie. Again, whoever did her kind of, went to the extreme here with the punniness. But Positively Charged is where we begin. Gain an electric aura that sometimes shocks and damages nearby enemies. These are hit and miss. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. 2 that come to mind, I guess 3, Drill Sergeant, and then primarily, though, when you think of this stuff, I always think of like Lightning Rod and Whirlwind. So next up, It Hurts. Again, it's just killing me with the punniness. Hurts obviously being electrical measurement. Enemies damaged by electrified water take increased damage. A perfect example of why there's no swimming during a lightning storm. Next up, Revolting Shock. Hold X to tail slap all nearby enemies into the air. Now, top path looks pretty cool, but what I like about this one, you hit the primary, or the, primary stuff twice. And then you've got, actually, you don't. This is tertiary. This one is just in general electricity, and then right here is an aura. So top path addresses her secondary attack. Bottom path is kind of like a hodgepodge of everything, but the primary doesn't have the 3 upgrades or a path kind of directly tied to it. That's interesting. However, I see over here looks like the soul gem's gonna tie in with it, so let's see what that does. Electrocute. Hold Y to charge a powerful crossbow attack. Release to shoot all enemies around you. That's pretty crazy. Obviously makes sense now that there wasn't a path kind of tied in directly to the primary attack, and since that wasn't the case, I'm assuming, again based on the numbers we saw early on, that this thing probably does some significant damage. So let's back out of here, back out of there, back out to here. Again, right here, primary 23, 2 sheep fluffed. Let's try to line that up. 23. She might be a candidate to get good money. I guess Still pop form's probably going to be the best, but I mean, the fact that she could get all three here, that'd be pretty crazy. You could like position the other person between those back two dummies or something, and possibly pick up the majority of the coins. That said, I don't know that she's quite fast enough to replace. She may be. I mean, she's obviously not near as fast as Pop Forms, Puff, but I think that could work right there. Plus, you have to realize with the 3 hits, she'd be multiplying things. So, that said, what we want to do, well, 23 and 35, obviously, and then that's 32. Let's see if we can get the other one. 48. So 32 to 48 now. Let's just go ahead. You get that? That's pretty good range there in terms of the electrical field. I don't know why she locks onto them. Check that out. That's kind of cool. There's our 32. We're shooting it. 23. That's going to be hard for me to document, I think, but I don't know. It is what it is, I suppose. So, pretty cool character, I have to say. Again, I do have a second one of her, luckily, both in the Easter packaging, and I will probably go ahead and may come in and do some of these newer characters that have just released ahead of the other characters. You know, so you might see like Punk Shock, Frino, Scratch. You'll see their upgrades maybe before, you know, like Riptide or Roller Well. You know, just there will be a little bit more relevance there for you. Again, I do that simply because I like to go box stock through the game and then upgrade. That way I'm really acclimated to the characters. I can appreciate the upgrades more, and then I can use the upgrades to clean house in Nightmare mode. So that's kind of my little strategy. It's how I've kind of tended to do things. But that's her. That's what she looks like jumping. Again, the jump mechanism itself is actually pretty cool. She got some pretty sweet air there. Looks really cool. Again, elements of kind of all the water characters, particularly Gilgrunt, you know, due to the projectile attacks, Zap, due to the way she ties in there with the eel, Whamshell, just somewhat reminiscent of him. Slam Bam Chill, not so much, but, you know, I think she will be a welcome addition here. So we'll go ahead and, I guess, end this one here again. Get things done a little bit quicker when you don't have to like push and ramble on about other things not directly related. But I'm excited to actually get her upgraded, kind of see how that pans out, particularly the Soul Gem. That one's really kind of piqued my interest here. Not sure if I'm going to do Enchanted, Jetvac, and Firebone, or just actually maybe come in and do some upgrading. So it's 2:30 in the morning now. I'm pretty tired. I need to get some sleep, obviously, but I might crank out like Nitro and see if I can't maybe get the money for Punk Shock as well, kind of start things that direction. So that said, as always, thanks for watching. Check the blog out, oneofwisdom.com. More information there than you would ever want to know about Skylanders. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Again, thanks for watching, and I will catch you back here for something Skylanders related that will be cool regardless of what it is.